Michael Dermer here, and we're here to talk about, in this lesson, creating your unique value proposition. We as entrepreneurs all think we're unique, but we really have to hone in what makes us unique to our potential customers to see our business grow. So what is a unique value proposition, and why is it important? When we're going out into the world, consumers and businesses alike are presented with many, many different options to buy the products and services that they want. And sometimes, because we have this passionate belief in what we're doing, we believe in what we're doing is unique, but we don't really hone in on what are those really specific reasons why we are. And so in this lesson, we're going to go through a couple of techniques to really help you hone in on that, right? The first is, how do you create a unique value proposition, right? How do you actually go about doing it? And there's a technique that comes from Japan, which is actually one that can be really valuable, and it's called the 7 whys. The 7 whys is when you ask yourself first, why is what I'm doing unique? And then when you get the answer, you ask yourself why 6 more times. And what you find is when you continue to ask yourself why, you really hone in on why your product or service is unique. So think about that as you're developing unique value proposition. Secondly is, what makes something unique in the world today? With all the technology that's available and capital that's available, we all have different ideas. What can actually make something rise above the crowd? In other words, what's something that you truly can't copy? Well, one thing you can't copy is intelligence, right? If you've gained an experience that only comes over a long period of time, or being uniquely positioned in a market, you have to make that intelligence come to life. In my old business, which was rewarding people for being healthy, we spent 10 years running those programs and learning all the little twists and turns. Well, if tomorrow somebody wanted to start a healthcare incentive company, it would be almost impossible for them to copy our intelligence. So see that intelligence, help that intelligence come to life in part of your value story. Okay? Now, unique also doesn't have to just mean your unique product and service. It can be how you go to market with it. So a great example of that is Starbucks. At the time that Starbucks got started, there was no shortage of coffee, right? And yet they put a Starbucks on every corner in America. And their whole view of the world was that we're going to create a place, right, where you see these Starbucks everywhere you go. And it becomes a place not just to get coffee, but for people to meet and congregate, right? And so they just took a very common product or service, coffee, right, and created a different approach for getting to market. So that can make you unique, right? You also don't have to be unique to everyone, right? In this day and age, it's really, really hard to have a blockbuster drug, if you will. But you can create very unique experiences just for specific pockets of the market. So let's say, for example, you're starting a car club, right, where you can basically pay a subscription fee and you can test drive new cool cars every month, right, as part of this club. Well, believe it or not, that's not that unique, right? There's lots of those that are available. But what if you did it just for women in Nashville, right, where that didn't exist in Nashville, maybe it wasn't targeted at women. You can take that very same product and service, and even though it's not unique everywhere on the planet, it might be really unique for those women in Nashville, okay? Another way of being unique is special distribution relationships. So if you think about somebody like Coca-Cola, right? Or you think about somebody like Microsoft. Coca-Cola created distribution all throughout the country. And by creating that distribution, whenever they bring a new product or service to market, they just pump it into that distribution channel. Microsoft, when it started, basically put its software on every computer that everybody got, right? So by creating these special distribution relationships, and I know these are bigger companies, but these concepts can actually make you unique in the marketplace, okay? Next is established relationships. You may have established relationships with third parties, right? With big companies, whatever it may be, that actually make your product or service unique. You might be able to, for example, if you're a software provider, you might be able to tie it on the back of another software provider from a big company. And finally, intellectual property. In days past, getting patents and trademarks was much easier than it is today. But on occasion, people will actually develop technology that is unique, that can be protected by intellectual property rights, both here in the United States and throughout the world. Okay? So don't just assume that your product or service is unique because it's what you're passionate about. Really take the time to hone in on your unique value proposition. And while not all these techniques will work for your business, I hope that at least they challenge you to push yourself to really say to yourself, why am I unique? In addition to this video, there's a lot of information detailed out for you side by side with this video in this lesson.